Hello, welcome back to another breaking news update. My name is Jimmy Boyd, and you were watching Boyd News. I want to thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm back with another update coming out from the war between Russia and Ukraine, and I've got a very big lineup of news to share with all of you today. So today's date is June 17th, 2025, and it's Tuesday. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Hope you guys are all having an awesome day today. We've got a lot of news coming out from this war that I want to share. Last night, the Russians launched a massive attack onto Ukraine. So, we're going to go over this story here on your screen first. Russia launches a massive drone and missile attack on Ukrainian cities. An overnight Russian missile and drone bombardment killed 15 people and injured 156, local officials said, in one of the deadliest attacks on Ukraine this year. Yeah, it definitely was, guys. 15 people being killed in these overnight attacks. One of them reportedly was an American citizen as well, 156 people being injured. Definitely a major attack, somewhere around 440 drones going into Ukraine last night, and also about 30 or 32 different types of missiles also reportedly attacking Kyiv, Odesa, Zaporizhia, numerous cities just being hammered last night. We also had a high rise residential building struck by an X 101 cruise missile directly, and several floors collapsed, people trapped under rubble. Just absolute chaos in Ukraine last night. We'll talk about this more as we move on. Also, in the Tambov region of Russia last night, they saw a pretty heavy drone attack from the Ukrainians, and reportedly a gunpowder factory or possibly the progress plant that has been attacked up there numerous times. Could have been attacked again. Okay, I don't know exactly what it was. Some sources are saying gunpowder factory, which is what I have today, and also mainstream news reporting that it could have been a progress plant. And the progress plant produces like critical components for drones and missiles for Russia's military, some microelectronics as well. So it could have been that factory that was attacked. We just reported that just in the last couple weeks, I think, multiple progress plants being attacked in Russia. So information on that, and then also the UK coming out with new sanctions today on multiple Russian entities, and also going after more Shadow Fleet vessels that are transporting Russian oil illegally. So lots of news today. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. We're going to hop on over here to X with Max25. The number of injured in Kyiv due to the massive attack has increased to 139. There are also 15 known deaths. Here's video coming out from Kyiv just earlier this morning after we had this massive bombardment. I mean, look at the destruction here, guys. Just smoke everywhere. What was it, just a week ago when we reported something very similar to this? There was just smoke all over the skies in Kyiv. I mean, Kyiv is just getting hit so hard recently. And unfortunately, lots of people losing their lives, being injured in these strikes. You can see there's a massive fire here. Looks like probably some sort of gas infrastructure might have gotten hit there. Homes destroyed. Very sad. And this is all at the same time while everybody's so focused on what's happening in the Middle East. And not that that's not important. There is some crazy developments happening down there, but it seems like all the attention has been taken away from Ukraine right now, and everybody's focused on what's happening with Israel and Iran. So now for more translated, visualization of the movement of Shahed drones and missiles throughout the night. Russia launched at least 440 Shahed drones and 32 missiles. So here's kind of a map showing the trajectory of a lot of these drones that were entering into Ukraine. You can see here a lot of them attacking like central and northern Ukraine, some in the southeast as well. But we know for sure Odessa was heavily attacked. That'd be down here in this area near the Black Sea, and Kyiv. Those are some of the two major areas heavily being bombarded last night by the Russians. I heard some missiles from Russia also were striking Zaporizhia. That was according to Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. He reported on that today as well. Now from Kolon, Kyiv will survive this like it has survived Russian terrorism for centuries. So here's more video coming out earlier this morning from Kyiv. I mean, look at the amount of smoke everywhere. You can't even see anything from this Russian bombardment. I mean, lots of high-rise infrastructure just being hammered by drones. So many fires breaking out in the capital city of Kyiv in Ukraine. Now, it was in Defender footage from this morning's large-scale missile and drone attack by Russia, showing a direct strike by Shahed-type drone on a high-rise apartment building in the Ukrainian capital of Kyiv. We got a 5-second video. You're going to see a drone smashing in right over here to one of these buildings. Take a look at this. Now, just in case you missed it, there the drone is right there, okay? You can see it slowly just closing in on this building. That's a Shahed drone slamming directly into this high-rise residential building that is packed with probably hundreds of people in there. So very horrible. I mean, look at all these cars parked out here. These people are still inside while this thing is being hit. This was happening late last night. Now, Savchenko Vladimir 9-story building in Kyiv was hit by a KH-101 missile, according to Ignat. And I believe that's Yuri Ignat. He's a colonel in Ukraine's military, okay, their armed forces. So, yeah, reportedly we had an X-101 or KH-101 cruise missile slamming directly into this building. You can see it completely leveled to the ground. Lots of people were trapped under the rubble. And I'm sure many people lost their lives just in this event right here as all these floors completely collapsed to the ground. This is something we've seen numerous times inside of Ukraine. When these buildings get hit by missiles, they just completely collapse. Now from Richard Woodruff, I give up. Russians killed 14 people in Kyiv last night. Meanwhile, Trump had a great conversation with Putin where he assured that he wanted peace. Yeah, we've heard that so many times from Trump, that Putin is serious about wanting peace, but clearly not. I mean, look at this up close footage here, or pictures, excuse me, of this high-rise building just completely collapsing. I mean, look at all that's left, just a little bit of a beam here on the top of the structure that was remaining. And we got firefighter crews here on the scene trying to help people out that are trapped under there. And this is a horrible picture to see. I believe this could have been a man that lost his family or family members that were trapped inside of there. And there was some other pictures showing this same man just on the sidelines here, just holding his face, same thing, just crying. Other people trying to comfort him because apparently he looks like he lost something. Obviously it looks like he may have lost his home there if he lived there, but possibly even some family members as well. So very sad to see stuff like that. Now from Anton Gerashenko, the Russian missile hit a high-rise building in Kyiv so deeply that it even broke through the concrete floors into the basement, Interior Minister Ihor Klimenko reported. The death toll in Kyiv has risen to 15 as of now. At least 114 more people were injured and 68 were hospitalized. Yeah, 28-second clip here of firefighters on the scene here of this collapsed building. Take a look.
Ми розбираємо, ви бачите, цю конструкцію. Провалилась, ракета зайшла балістична настільки глибоко, що провалило навіть бетонні перекриття в підвал. Тому налаштовані працювати багатозмінно для того, щоб максимально швидко докопатися спочатку до великих конструкцій. І зараз відповідна техніка ці конструкції буде піднімати для того, щоб поверх за поверхом розбирати. Якщо можете сказати, тому що бачите, до 59 поверхів склалося на рівні двохповерхового будинку. Ми розбираємо, ви бачите.
So very sad to see this, guys. I mean, all these emergency workers here trying to rescue anybody that might be trapped under there. But I'm sure a lot of people were probably crushed just by the debris here. I mean, that's a large fall all the way from the top if you were on the upper end floors up there. So very, very sad to see this, guys. Once again, a massive attack on Ukraine. Now, Jay in Kyiv, here's what filthy Russian savages were doing to Kyiv while Trump lobbied for Putin in Canada. Yep, here's another video of a high-rise building directly struck by a Russian drone, most likely a Shahed drone or Garan type. We got a massive fire here that broke out on this building as well. And yeah, Trump was at the G7 summit yesterday. And what Jay and Kyiv is talking about here when Trump is lobbying for Putin. While he was there, he was pretty much blasting Obama during the Obama administration in the U.S. and also Justin Trudeau, the former prime minister of Canada, for basically kicking Russia out of the G8 back in 2014, excuse me. And he was claiming that, that apparently angered Putin, and this is a large reason why the war began and whatnot. So just speaking on behalf of the Russians once again and supporting the Russian people, and a lot of people are not happy with that because of what Russia's clearly doing to Ukraine right now, right? Now for Max 25, more footage of Russian UAV directly strike a high-rise building in Kyiv. We got another video of a drone smashing into a civilian home and high-rise infrastructure. Take a look.
Вот он, ебать!
All right, what a scary video. Look at that thing just slowly flying in right there, and you can't do anything. Imagine being this person thinking, oh my gosh, this drone is just barely about to miss me, but you know it's about to crash into something, and they probably know there's a building right next to them that directly was hit by this drone. So sad to see. I'm sure that man wanted to be able to do something, but, what can you do in that situation? Now for Bliskovka, the moment of an arrival of cluster munitions in the capital last night. Yeah, I want you guys to see this. Not a very long clip. But you're going to see it popping up right here. There's cluster munition landing and dropping all these cluster bomblets everywhere in this district. These look like apartment homes here. There's lots of tall buildings. Okay, right, packed in a very dense district here. Lots of people living in this area, and these cluster munitions just exploding right there inside of Kyiv. So yeah, we had all kinds of different weaponry blowing up inside of Ukraine last night. Now, from Ukrainian Review, the Russia struck railway infrastructure and grain wagons in Kiev overnight. Yeah, we had some grain wagons being destroyed here. You can see being hit and all the grain just pouring out. So this thing looks like it completely tipped over right there as well. I'm not sure what it was hit by. Was it drones? I'm thinking maybe it was drones that attacked this. But yeah, more damage to civilian infrastructure inside of Ukraine once again being reported here. Now, war translated in Kiev, two SES helicopters are operating at the site of the aftermath of Russian strikes. They have already carried out over 50 water drops, more than 100 tons. Rescue operations are ongoing. As what we saw just about a week ago when Ukraine was attacked again, similar style here, massive attack. And we had these helicopters flying over to the Dnipro River, picking up water and heading over to drop this water on these locations that were on fire. I mean, this is how bad the fires were inside of Kiev. They had to deploy these helicopters to help the firefighters out on the ground because there was just too much fire all over the city. Very sad to see. Now, Max 25, this is just the beginning. A terrible, bloody autumn awaits us. If possible, go live outside Kiev, away from strategic objects and critical infrastructure facilities, company commander in the 412th Nemesis Regiment, Yarmak, reported. This is a little scary to think about, like imagine if a lot of people start to flee out of Kyiv, okay, one of the major cities in Ukraine, and just to get away from all these attacks. I mean, he's basically calling on people saying, hey, this is going to get worse. Recommend you start to leave now. Get outside some of the major cities that are being attacked, and Kyiv is just bombarded like crazy, and they can only do so much to defend from these attacks, especially when Russia's launching 400 drones at one time. It's very hard to stop all these attacks. So this is what this company commander, the 412th Nemesis Regiment, was warning to start getting out of Kyiv now because it's only going to get worse. Now, from Savchenko Volodymyr, the number of injured in Odesa has increased to 17, including a pregnant woman and girl. The body of a 60-year-old woman was found under the rubble. One person rescued from the rubble of a high-rise building in Kyiv. The number of wounded in Kyiv has increased to 60. So these are just pictures coming out from Odesa. We had an apartment building here directly struck on the top. You can see it's completely a huge gaping hole there. And here's somebody that was rescued, probably injured in these attacks. Very, very sad to see that. And also one more picture here of this high-rise building that was completely leveled to the ground. Now, Anton Gerashenko, the moment of a Russian drone strike on Odessa. Turn the sound on if you can. This is what Ukrainian cities hear during the night over and over again as new drones attack our cities. Yeah, take a look at this, guys. Another drone incoming into Odessa and smashing into somebody recording nearby. Take a look at this. All right, so it's sad to see this, that Ukraine is just being pounded like crazy while at the same time the U.S. is helping out Israel while they come under attack. And I know a lot of people are very upset about that right now because the U.S. is down there with their military deployed to shoot down incoming Iranian ballistic missiles, while at the same time Ukraine is just being hammered over here and nobody's really helping them out. They're completely on their own. That's why we see so much damage over here. So very sad to see that. Now let's move on to Oriana Lila. Odessa today, consequences of Russian strikes in Odessa. We got another 13-second clip. Take a look at this. All right, not much more sound here in this video, but we can see massive destruction here also in the city of Odessa. Again, down in southern Ukraine, like southwestern Ukraine, close to the Black Sea is where Odessa is located at. And they've gotten hit so many times. Here's another pictures here from a Ukrainian Review in Odessa. The building of the Faculty of Art and Graphics in South Ukrainian National Pedagogical, if I'm saying that right, university, was damaged by shelling. So even a university being attacked down here. Look at the damage here to this classroom. People just over here trying to study, and it was hit by Russian drones as well. Okay, so schools just being hit. You know, we're always reporting hospitals. I mean, so much critical infrastructure being destroyed all the time. Now, Max 25 gunpowder factory in Tambov last night. Yeah, we've got a 20-second clip here of an attack inside of Russia in the Tambov region, again, just south of Moscow. Reportedly could be a gunpowder factory or maybe that progress plant producing critical components for Russian missiles and drones. Take a look.
Еще. Ебать. Вот это
All right, so it looks like a pretty massive attack from Ukraine in this area. We've got at least two major explosions. These look like interceptors, probably from a Russian Panzer S-1 air defense system, trying to shoot down these incoming drones. And it looks like we had some direct strikes, but unfortunately, I don't have that information yet to determine the actual effects of these strikes, what was actually damaged and hit. We're still waiting for that information. But again, I'm hearing could be gunpowder factory or maybe that progress plant. Now, for Max 25, Great Britain announced the introduction of new sanctions against Russia, 4 individuals and 6 legal entities, as well as 20 ships, which include vessels of Shadow Fleet. London has imposed sanctions against the Russian main directorate of deep sea research. Okay, so we've got some new sanctions from the UK today. Okay, they're going after more of Russia's Shadow Fleet, 4 individuals, 6 legal entities. Not a huge package of sanctions here from the UK, but nonetheless, they have been coming out with so many recently. We just heard of some sanctions released from the UK just a couple weeks back when the EU released their 17th package of sanctions. We're still waiting to hear on that 18th package coming from the EU here soon. Now, Anton Gerashenko's Shoigu arrived at a meeting with Kim Jong-un in North Korea. They hugged. Shoigu said that he is always very warmly received in North Korea. They will probably discuss giving Russia more North Korean ballistic missiles and or troops so that Russia can kill more Ukrainians. This is Shoigu's second visit to North Korea this month. He already went there on June 4th. Yeah, so this is Sergei Shoigu here, the former defense minister out of Russia, and now he's the secretary of the National Security Council. And he's been showing up over here in North Korea multiple times this month. It's now the second time. And looks like he's going over there for possibly more weapons, some sort of deal that's probably going to be signed. And, there's just more signs that North Korea and Russia continue to work together. North Korea is still supplying more weapons over to the Russians. And I've got a new video today of a new weapon that we haven't really talked about yet that the Russians are now using from North Korea. So just more video footage here of them meeting and probably getting more weapons from North Korea. Now for Bliskovka, following a Shoigu's visit, Russia's strengthening cooperation with North Korea. According to Russian media, Pyongyang is reportedly sending 1,000 sappers and 5,000 construction workers to take part in reconstruction efforts in Russia's Kursk region. Meanwhile, Russian Post, the country's federal postal operator, has launched parcel delivery services to the DPRK. Okay, so what's being reported here is just more likely more soldiers and construction workers being sent into Russia to help out with labor needs, especially up in the Kursk region where a lot of that area has been destroyed due to heavy fighting when Ukraine launched an incursion over there. Also, apparently, what they're going to be doing is helping out with delivering mail, apparently, to the Democratic People's Republic of Korea and North Korea, according to this information. So that's allegedly what they were able to achieve there. Now, war translated, massive disruptions in mobile internet service are being reported in 1/3 of Russia's regions. Mobile networks are being shut down unevenly across 30 regions of the Russian Federation, with connectivity disappearing entirely in some major cities. According to Russian authorities, these measures are being taken as part of defense efforts against drones and other medium-level response threats. Okay, I thought this was interesting because every now and then, like maybe every couple weeks, we hear about this, that mobile networks, internet starts going down all over the place inside of Russia. And a lot of times this is Ukraine launching cyber attacks onto Russia. So I'm thinking maybe that's what's going on here. But Russia's claiming that the reason why they're doing this is to protect from drone attacks and other responding to other types of threats in their nation. So you guys can let me know what you think on that. But again, mobile networks going down across Russia today. Now, war translated, according to Reuters, the administration of U.S. President Donald Trump effectively shut down an interagency group in recent weeks that had been tasked with developing a strategy to increase pressure on Russia. The reason reportedly was the president's growing doubts about the advisability of pursuing a confrontational approach towards Moscow. The working group included representatives from the State Department, the Pentagon, the Treasury, and Intelligence Services, or agencies, excuse me, and was coordinated by senior National Security Council official Andrew Peake, who was removed from his position in May. It remains unclear who gave the order to dismantle the initiative. Yeah, a lot of people were saying that it was probably Putin that told Trump to remove this interagency group that was tasked with trying to put pressure onto Russia to, agree to some sort of ceasefire and end this war and whatnot. So that's more indication here that the U.S. is probably going to start to back out from negotiations, and if they don't, they're really not going to put a lot of pressure onto Russia at all right now. We're not seeing that. Trump refuses to say anything bad about Vladimir Putin. So don't expect any kind of ceasefire and end to this war anytime soon. I think things are going to become more brutal in the coming months. And the big catalyst here is whether the U.S. is going to continue to supply aid to Ukraine, even if Ukraine is willing to purchase aid. So that's not good news coming out of the U.S. today. Now, Max 25, the U.S. and partners did not find any violations in the process of Ukraine's use of their military assistance, according to TSK. The commission held more than 40 meetings in the U.S. with members of Congress, Ministry of Defense, and other representatives. The U.S. highly appreciated Ukraine's efforts to report and control assistance. Agreements were reached to accelerate the delivery of critical resources as well as to further strengthen the partnership in the field of security, cyber defense, and stability. Okay, so this is kind of good news right here for Ukraine. Because we heard that there was going to be like an audit recently. I think it was Secretary of State, excuse me, Marco Rubio, probably about a month or so ago. He was stating that they were going to be doing like an audit on all the weapons and everything given over to Ukraine, see if they find any violations or whatnot. Apparently, they haven't been able to find anything like that with the use of military assistance given to Ukraine. So that's good. That means that the U.S. should be pretty happy to supply more weapons, you would think. But again, we don't know for sure yet. We know that Ukraine wants to buy weapons from the U.S., but we have to wait for official responses coming out of the State Department and also from Trump himself. He hasn't really stated anything on that. We'll see if Ukraine can get more weapons here soon, but this is somewhat good news right here. Now from T90K, Russia's using a North Korean M1991 MLRS, June 2025. Yes, very annoying watermark. Yeah, it's going to have this huge watermark here on the screen, but I want to show you guys this is a North Korean MLRS, okay? So a multiple launch rocket system. And this is the first time we've seen anything like this of the Russians using this. So here's a Russian soldier right here. And they're firing these rockets into Ukraine. This is probably one of the new systems maybe that was delivered to North Korea. I mean, we've been seeing Sergei Shoigu just like a couple posts ago that I showed you guys. He's heading over to North Korea. So they're getting all kinds of weapons, and the North Koreans are becoming more and more involved here, sending their weapons over to Russia to use in this fight against the Ukrainians. So crazy video to see there. Now, Kyiv Independent, Russian military industrial chemical plant halts operations after Ukrainian drone strike. The Nevinnomisk Azot chemical plant, a key supplier to the Kremlin's military industrial complex, has suspended production following Ukrainian drone strikes. All right, so this was an attack that took place over the weekend. I believe it was on the 14th on Saturday when I was not here for you guys. And we had a chemical plant that was being attacked. I think it was in the Stavropol Krai region of Russia, down in southwestern Russia, close to like Krasnodar Krai and the Sea of Azov and whatnot. And allegedly, we had this attack taking place down here on this chemical plant, and it was struck and hit pretty badly. And according to this information, they have halted their operations, which is very big. I mean, these chemical plants produce a lot of components for like explosives and whatnot. So that's a very big hit by Ukraine. Looks like they were able to suspend the production here at this plant. Now from Ilya Ponomarenko, I am now almost certain that Putin has made the following decision. If in the near future he cannot crush Ukraine on the battlefield and conquer it, he will do everything in his power to make life in the non-occupied territories of Ukraine as unbearable and deadly as possible, so that as many people as possible either flee or die from the relentless mass killings, the total destruction of critical infrastructure, and the collapse of the basic economy. In his vision, Ukraine's territory should become a scorched and depopulated land, and if he could, he would have already burned everything alive in Ukraine with nuclear weapons. Then, as Putin sees it, once Ukraine is bled out completely and what remains of it turns into a nation in exile, waves of settlers from Russia's poorest regions will arrive on its lands, just like during Soviet times and just like in today's Mariupol, which has been totally cleansed of everyone who openly supported Ukraine and wished to remain Ukrainian. Yeah, this is a pretty huge statement here coming out from Ilya Ponomarenko. We've actually shared several of his statements. He's very pro Ukraine, and it says here he lives straight out of Buka. I think that's how you pronounce that. I believe that's in like eastern Ukraine. And yeah, so he comes out with a lot of statements like this. Now, this is only like a personal message he's putting out. I want to know what you guys think about this. Like, do you kind of see it like this that Russia just wants to destroy Ukraine that way? They want it to be a scorched and depopulated land, as he talks about, and possibly flood a bunch of Russian people from the poorest areas of Russia back into Ukraine. I mean, we know that based on what we're seeing already, that Russia wants to destroy Ukraine. I mean, look at what they did to Kyiv last night again for the probably 100th time by now, and also cities like Odesa just being burned to the ground and destroyed in these attacks. So I have to agree with this to an extent. It definitely seems like that's Vladimir Putin's plan, and it kind of lines up with that message that I gave you guys earlier from one of those officers from a regiment in Ukraine's military, calling on citizens to start leaving Kyiv and start getting out now because things are only going to get worse. So, I mean, it's something that's bound to happen if Russia keeps up these attacks. I think a lot of people are going to start to leave the big cities and head out away from critical infrastructure that could be attacked. Imagine being inside of these high-rise buildings that get destroyed and it collapses to the ground. I'm sure it's going to scare a lot of people and want to leave these areas. So, very crazy. Let me know what you guys think. Now for Bliskovka, air defense forces of Ukraine neutralized 428 Russian drones and missiles. In total, the Russians attacked 472 targets with air power, 440 attacked UAVs and the Shahed type imitator drones, about 280 of which were Shaheeds, 2 times 47 M2 Kinzhal aerial ballistic missiles, 16 X-101 cruise missiles, 4 Caliber cruise missiles, 9 X-59-69 guided missiles, 1 X-31P anti-radar missile. Okay, so many different types of missiles attacking Ukraine last night, 440 drones. And according to Ukraine's air defense forces, they neutralized 428 out of those 440 drones. But we know a lot of those were still slamming into buildings in Kyiv last night. Now, finally, our last update here from in Ukraine, June 17th, updates on Russian losses in the war. So we had to use a different post today because the Kyiv Independent, for some reason, has not posted their update with the amount of losses. So we're going to go off of Ukraine's defense ministry today. It says losses of Russian occupiers in Ukraine from February 24th, 2022 to June 17th, 2025. And they've got the updated numbers here. So estimated eliminated personnel over the last 24 hours was 1,060, 1 tank, 3 armored fighting vehicles, 20 artillery systems, 1 multiple launch rocket system, 177 UAVs, and 79 vehicles and fuel tanks. So once again here, not a whole lot being destroyed. I mean, these numbers have just been really collapsing recently, and they continue to every single day. And we've been seeing some of the lowest numbers throughout the duration of this war, which is interesting because we keep hearing that the Russians are launching an offensive, but still, nonetheless, very low numbers here. Just wanted to share some of these updates, let you guys know how many losses here the Russians have taken over the last 24 hours. And I want to thank you guys very much for tuning in for this update. That's going to be it for all the news today. So thank you so much for tuning in on this update on today's date, June 17th, 2025. So let me know what you think about all these details down below in the comment section. That's going to be it for today's update. If you got something out of this, please smash that like button. Also, if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing down below. Hit the notification bell. That way YouTube can notify you. With that, hope you all have a great day. Everybody take care and God bless, and we'll see you in the next one.